It was at 5:15 p.m. that I had a tilapia with lobster on top meal with some sticks of mild cheddar. With a glass of whole milk as a sort of late lunch. And right now I'm having a Kung Pao chicken poke salad with avocado. All of this being among some of the things that Mom and I got during a Wegmans grocery shopping trip that we made from 3 to 4 p.m. Except for the whole milk. We already had that, but Mom got a gallon of the 1% milk since that's the kind she prefers. When we got back, Mom started cooking the tilapia with lobster and the salmon with lobster meals. In our oven. And while those meals cooked and then cooled, we made another attempt to try to set up our Nintendo Wii on our LG Smart TV. For some reason, even though we have seemingly all the cables we need, I don't think our smart TV even has a SCRAM converter. If for some reason, whenever we went to the input list screen, the HDMI option it was never lit up. It was always faded. We first used this new cable we got that was supposed to allow us to combine all of the component cables into one, and then the audio and video cables into one cable. Because for our smart TV, there's only one input or output for the component system, and then another such for the audio and video. I don't know if it's something wrong with our cables or something wrong with our smart TV or with our Wii, but for some reason, television is never for some reason it's never picking up any program information from our Nintendo Wii. At one point, Mom accidentally stepped on the power strip cable, and as a result, some sparks flew out. Thankfully, Mom wasn't hurt. There was no fire that was set, but there did ended up being a sort of bad smell, maybe like a burnt rubber or something kind of smell. And we ended up having to open our front door for a minute or two, probably a few minutes, in order to air out that smell. I'm not even sure if it's hazardous or not. To smell something like that. I ultimately got up today around 11:30 in the morning, and during the noon hours to early afternoon hours, I drew in the pupils of Josh Allen on that drawing, first using an ultrafine black Sharpie marker, then an ultrafine brown Sharpie marker for, I believe, the iris part. Of the eyes, since those are brown on Josh Allen, though I only had to look at my first drawing of Josh Allen with his helmet on. In order to be reminded of this. In the late afternoon / evening hours, I did the front of his jersey, essentially finishing it. I drew in the number 17, though the numerals for that. I ended up separating them rather than cutting them off. Because the other day I had made the collar too big. And thus I decided to carve out bills below the bottom of the collar. And thus, if I didn't separate the numerals of the 17, I would only really have room to draw the tops of them. So I separated them. I first drew them in using an ultra-fine black Sharpie and then a fine red Sharpie. I then did the same for the 7 here. Only this time I didn't make this mistake, and then I did the 1 like this. Only now these numerals on the sides, because I gave myself less room on each side. Again, because I made the collar too big, the numerals ended up being significantly smaller. And then I drew in this, only it looks a little different, as it's not really possible to draw the exact same thing twice. I still managed to ultimately recreate that 3-star C camo symbol that I found on at least one picture of Josh Allen when I made the first one back in late March. Then after I finished that symbol, I colored in the front of the jersey going around the Bills text with an ultrafine blue Sharpie. Same for some precise areas of the numerals and that C labeling. I found photos of Josh Allen where the C symbol had blue background and only 1 or 2 stars. And then for the rest of the front of the jersey, I colored it in using a blue Sharpie marker, fine tipped. It was around 10:30 p.m. or so when I called Dad. Spontaneously decided to call him. And I ended up showing him a picture of Josh Allen. After I finished the front of the jersey by 8 p.m., and sent Dad the picture, via messages, basically texted it to him while on the phone with him. He was able to view it while on the phone with me. And he had enjoyed what I did with the front of the jersey. There was the obvious fact that I had separated the numerals of the 17, but it was still pretty good, and I had enjoyed how it turned out. I had made sure I had done my best on it so far. And I ultimately recall around 11 p.m. or so, I had a couple of sticks of mild cheddar as a snack, as at that time I felt a bit hungry. And with those couple of sticks, I had I believe a classic lemonade flavored sparkling ice beverage. It has 0 calories and no sugar, but it does have an artificial sweetener known as sucralose. I checked the ingredients. I have heard that it's not a good idea to have artificial sweeteners, since when you do, your body prepares for receiving sugar that never comes. And doing that, it seems it's supposedly a pretty bad thing. I'm not quite sure if it's possible to find a water substitute beverage that has all 3 of the following: 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 artificial sweeteners. I consider Gatorade's Propel drinks, but that has artificial sweeteners too. And then I considered Wegmans MVP drinks. Thing is, I haven't really been seeing those as much as I did when they were first introduced. They have no sugar and no artificial sweeteners, but one does have 130 calories, so it seems to me either milk or water would be the best options for me. Just having glasses of water or water from one of the many water bottles I have somewhere around this house somewhere